How do you start it once it's stopped? It is so difficult to do. It is so incredibly difficult. Do you guys follow pro wrestling at all? And if you ever see like the behind the scenes, the 30 for 30, some of these really well-made shows that they've done, Dark Side of the Ring, be a fine example. A lot of your heroes from television were hooked on drugs. And they would explain to you why. They would explain to you how that ended up in that industry specifically. Even if you listen to somebody like, take Kurt Angle by example. As clean-cut and straight-laced as you get, all their stories are the same, which is, it's a really tough business. Right? My body ends up sore, ends up hurting. I got to make pounds. I don't have several days to recover. Take an MMA fighter, right? He's got 4 months in between times that he's in there. A wrestler's got to go Tuesday night and he's got to be in Minneapolis on Wednesday. He's got to make Jackson Hole on Thursday. He's got to be in Saddle for Friday. Coming up the I-5 to Portland. Saturday, make San Jose for Sunday. I mean, right, it's one of these things. But all of them, they all tell the same story, which is, look, it's really rough on me. So I end up taking something for that. Then I'm in different time zones. So now I've got to do something for the sleep. Now the sleep aids are still kicked in when it's time and the camera's about to light. So now I got to take something to speed me up. It's always the same story. And there's a lot of truth to it. And they will always add, right? Some of the guys, they're stars, some of your marquee names. The guys that are headlining WrestleMania, which is a guaranteed, well-known with indie industry events, is going to hand you $1 million. If you have no discussion and you headline WrestleMania, when you're done, Vince will hand you $1 million. That has been known within the industry for over 20 years. But the same guy that's vying and politicking and lobbying and struggling to headline Mania on a pay-per-view on a Sunday is the same guy that's trying to be a feature match at a house show on a Thursday. House show means you must be in the house to see the show. There's no television. I always kind of look back and go, you got to be kidding me. Why? Somebody else should be doing that. I mean, if you're the star, once you're discovered, once you're over, once it worked, they can relax a little bit, but the wrestlers tell a different tale. They say no. They say you have 2 hours for Monday Night Raw. You're going to get X amount of matches in those 2 hours. Any way you want to do it. Every single Monday, throw a dart at the wall. You're going to have the same amount of matches. You're going to have the same amount of commercials. You're going to have the same amount of interviews. You're going to have the exact same run of show. But what wrestlers get put on that spot during television time versus the house show versus the dark matches is who will set themselves up for the rest of their career. And they say that they just can't afford to miss. If you have 20 guys under contract, for example, and 14 of them are going to make TV, those 14 are going to hang on to that, including if they have to do drugs or to put their body through something very rough. They all tell the same story because if one of those other 6 gets worked in and gets over, the crowd enjoys him more. Low man on the totem pole, kicked off of TV. It will change the entire career. Once you get kicked off of TV, how are you going to come back? And you don't see that very often. It's the ultimate recipe for promoting. You just can't do it very often. The ultimate recipe for promoting. The UFC, by example, has 774. I used to know this exactly, but it has 774 athletes under contract, I believe. Right now, 774 athletes under contract. Bellator has 336 athletes under contract, just by example. One championship has 154 athletes under contract, by example. Now, most people are going to think whoever's got the bigger roster has done something better. The real key to promoting is if you could have just 20 guys. This is what every promoter wishes that he had. He wishes he had 20 guys, but every single Saturday he can take that same 20 to a different town. You want the crowd to be familiar with your talent. When you've got 776 guys, 336 guys, or 154 guys, the crowd's not familiar with them. They can't be. They're new guys. There's new faces. Maybe the main event, he knows. I'm just sharing with you. It's one of the ultimate recipes for promotion. It's what everybody wishes that they could do. They just can't. Unless they can design the match and handicapped the outcome. If they don't, they can't do it. But the ultimate way to go in the promotion would be to have 20 guys and just keep bringing them back and just keep alternating who they're going against. But their body can't hold up. I'm sharing that with you just to prove how difficult it is once you have a spot and you lose a spot to regain it. And I'm witnessing it within this sport. And I'll use Paddy the Baddy. It was so bad with Paddy the Baddy that I warned him. I didn't just say, hey, Paddy, don't be difficult to work with. Don't try to charge guys for interviews. Don't do that. Don't just be a dick. Don't do that. You can't be where you are without us. Period. Period. If you don't understand that concept, it's not just that you need us to keep you there. You need us to keep you there and not bring somebody else into that spot. We don't actually have to pull you down. See, that's the misconception these guys make. They think they can just go out there and win their fights, hold their spot, or move forward. They don't understand. They can do that. They can continue to grow. If we grab a guy from down here and put him up here, we still bring you down. I'm only using Paddy's name because that's an example where I came to you guys publicly and I said, hey, Paddy, don't be difficult to work with. You're not doing this. The weird head cut and the mediocre skills is not getting you over. We are. And I use Paddy now because that's a name that I used to see every single day. And if I was to back up 2 years ago, I have never seen a media sensation like Khamzat Chimaev. Never. Ronda was right there, but she had won world championships and she had an Olympic medal. It was a little bit different. I had never seen something like Chimaev. And I watched him let that go. And I watched Paddy let that go. And you have Sugar Sean, right? I'm just using really popular guys. I'm not actually picking on, in case anybody tuned in late, I'm not picking on Chimaev. I'm not picking on Paddy. I'm not picking on Sean. I'm sharing 3 very popular guys. If you want to just take a very recent frame of reference, who had massive momentum, who stopped it, how are you going to restart it? Bo Nickel would be a great example. Bo Nickel was starting to tread on the Khamzat Chimaev level of hype. I could not go to a .com and see Bo Nickel. I just couldn't do it. And completely out of Bo's control was an injury, and now he's attempting to regain it. It's just an observation. I think that he will, and once he does regain it, once everybody gets back on that train, the momentum will go forward. But I just offer you the example of once you have it and you lose it, how do you get it back? Are you paying attention to this? Do you see the difference in Conor McGregor being broken in half? Joe Rogan having to get down on the ground to do an interview with him. Do you see the difference in how he handled the media and moved his career forward? Do you see what Henry Cejudo did? When he said Triple C's out, he dropped the mic and walked away, but stayed out there. Do you see the difference in what Sean O'Malley did? How do you get it? How do you get it once you had it and it stopped? The wrestlers understood the concept that these currents move both ways. It's not just about you going up. It's about not letting somebody down here get a bounce. There's only so many spots in a 2-hour television window. Doesn't matter if you're more popular today than you were yesterday, if another guy's even more popular than that. And like any type of rules or any type of paradigm, you must first understand them before you can begin to manipulate them. So you can all thank me. You can all thank me for being over here and posing a question of once you have it and it stops, how do you get it back? I'm posing a question that you had never previously even considered.